Hey guys, I'm going to make an aspect tier list for Ultima Online Outlands and let's get to it. So the first aspect is air aspect. I think it maintains its value after the expansion. It can still go up to S tier, however it is a little bit situational. Air is one of the two aspects where you can actually utilize going over the SSI cap if you increase the cap with red line points. But again, it is very situational and it is for like super end game players. So I would rate it at A, but easily it can go to S because the swing speed scales exponentially. I will explain this in another video how swing speed is like super good after 65%, but I don't think that interests so many people at this point of the game. But as the years pass, as people acquire more red line points, I think air will move from A to S. Arcane is one of my favorite aspects. It is S tier. It can, especially arcane weapon, uh, the mana refund is amazing. You can use it with arcane, meaning like you can use arcane for your armor and weapon, or you can combine arcane with blood. I have videos showing like I don't know. It's very comfortable farming with arcane blood and it's very high DPS. You can also do omnis and bosses with that spec. You can combine it with Eldritch. You can combine it with void. It is super volatile and super good, like a straight S. Holy, I would rate it A again. I think it's a very undervalued aspect at this point. One of the reasons that it goes to A is actually the same reason why air can go to S. It can go over the SSI cap. By SSI, I mean swing speed increase. Also, I tested Holy many times in level 4s. It is very comfortable to farm Aegis Keep 4 or Mouse, whatever. So I think it's very undervalued, especially at the higher ranks, and especially if you have the swing speed links. I think Holy is just amazing. Lightning, I played it a little bit in the test. It has the coolest visual, but other than that, I couldn't really bring myself to, I don't know, maybe you can put it at C, but it is just for the visual. I mean, other than that, visual of the weapon proc. Other than that, I'm not a big fan of Lightning. Harvest, obviously, I should maybe I shouldn't even have put it here, but obviously there is no benefit of running a harvest aspect while you are fighting, so it goes to F tier. Gadget is straight S. Trappers right now are killing it. It is a straight S. It's not. I don't like the playstyle, but they are amazing. They are super strong, and as a Dexter or a mage, it's very hard to compete with them because they have the explosive damage. So what they do is they gather all the mobs around, and then they set their traps, and then they just blow them off. And their DPS is super high. They will just steal your mobs too. They are very strong right now. Frost, I don't know, E tier, not my thing. I don't think it's strong. Fortune between A and S. Actually, it's S. You know why? It's not about damage or anything. It is actually when you are farming in a spot that is crowded. So the idea is if you are only able to kill one mob for per minute because it's super crowded, then you better kill it with fortune because then you get the global XP increase and the extra loot. I actually run Fortune sometimes, even when it is not super crowded. But when it is super crowded, I mostly use Fortune. It's nice. It feels good to have the extra loot. Also, you can use Fortune for team mapping or dungeon picking. I don't know. I just like Fortune. It's really good. Fire, I like fire a lot. It's one of the first aspects I leveled. Its visual is amazing, but I think it needs a buff to the flame strikes that it procs. It feels weak. Like, I don't know. I can't bring myself to play fire anymore. I'm just going to put it at D. I mean, it's not that as bad as Frost, maybe, but I don't know. It's just not good right now. Eldritch is very good. I would rate that A. The issue with Eldritch is Eldritch Weapon Proc gives you a mana pool, which is actually nice. Eldritch armor is amazing. It increases the mana refund chance to 75%. and it gives you your spells a boost according to the mana spent. But I'm just thinking, like, if I have the arcane, I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. If I have the arcane at tier 14 or whatever, why do I even need Eldritch? Because I never ran out of mana, right? I mean, especially if you have something like arcane blood, like arcane weapon, blood armor that I'm going to get to in a minute. Why would I even need Eldritch? I don't know. You can still play it; it's strong, but I can take it to S, at least from my understanding. Earth, also one of the first aspects I leveled because I listened to the people in the Discord. You know, like when I was starting out, they were like, "Oh, level something super cheap," which is actually kind of useless. I mean, Earth is very situational. Back in the day, wrestling wasn't as bad, so you could have used monkey stance combined with earth armor. I don't know, like if you really push for it, you were able to use it. Right now, I think it's even more useless because wrestling is useless. But like, it's not about the tier list. But if you are going to be serious about Outlands, I don't recommend anyone to start with a weak aspect. Why? I mean, it's time. You eventually switch to something better anyway. So what's the point? Just do a little bit more scavenging and start with something strong, right? I don't know. I think it was a bad advice. Uh, I don't know. It's subjective though. Discipline, it's very bad here. Uh, Discipline actually, as far as I know, was specifically created for wrestling back in the days. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't use it with another weapon type or another skill. But yeah, I mean, wrestling is super bad. Discipline wasn't already good. Now it is even worse. Shadow, straight as very strong. This is for backstabbers. I don't like the game style, but they are extremely strong. Poison, S tier. I'm actually right now leveling up poisoning. I think it's extremely strong, especially poison Dexter. I think I will be able to do as much damage as I can do with air at like maybe aspect tier like 7 8. We will see. I will shoot a video about it. The issue is like I can actually drag it down to A for one reason, and it is because it's extremely expensive. You need many links. Like actually, I've seen videos like people killing it at like 16, 17 links, but still you need damage to diseased links and damage increase links. Maybe I don't know, like poison damage increase links. The thing with poison aspect links is that they are very specific. They are not really situational. Maybe you can use it for your Nox Crow or your Nox Mage, but other than that, like links make it a little bit hard to play and expensive to play. But if you have the money, I think it's S tier. I think I'm going to be playing Poison for a while actually now. Lyric. It used to be my one of my favorites. One of the first aspects that I took to tier 14. Uh, Lyric. I used to play it with Tamer. I used to do 620 skills like provocation, discordance, music. I also used to play it with trio part. But like the thing is, Tamer fell off so much. We will actually see it at the comment section as well. And I think Lyric fell down with it a little bit. Also, right now, since they introduced Focus, which increases your SSI and which is actually almost mandatory, there is simply not enough skill points to spend on discordance and like three bard skills: provocation, discordance, peacemaking, or if you go another route, musicianship, discordance, whatever. There is simply not enough skills. It feels very congested. I tried making some builds with damage to effective barding skill links and damage to barded creatures. It just doesn't fit it. Like, why would I put myself so much through while I can just do better with air or I don't know, something else like madness, whatever. So I don't know. It is still not super bad because it's very beneficial during boss fights or whatsoever, but I will just give it a D. Okay, madness, it's very strong. I think it's actually between A and B for one reason and one reason only. They nerfed the damage you take. In other words, they increase the damage you take. So it got the aspect got nerfed, and sometimes it can be a little bit too much. Like especially if you are melee, I think madness is sometimes a little bit too risky. So it is a little bit situational. If you are playing an archer, madness archer, and farming wilderness, it's somewhere here. It's amazing because you can kite. You don't even need to take parry. If you are using madness archer with parry in the dungeons, or maybe like arcane madness mage, then it is probably A tier. But if you are using uh, a macer, sometimes I find it a little bit too risky. So I'm just going to put it between A and B, but closer to here. That aspect, I'm sorry, man, super bad. Like almost at harvest. They should have done something about it. I think it is just neglected. It's just left to die. Like every other aspect got something. Every other playstyle got something. With the introduction of the Wildlands expansion, you can argue that Tamers didn't get anything, but I think Tamer revamp was already a part of the Wildlands expansion that came a little bit early. It came earlier than Wildlands, in my opinion. But it just died down. I don't know. Like Summoner Mage, it used to be amazing when I first started. I don't know. It's super bad. Command D tier. I think Tamer needs a buff or something, or maybe the idea is they dominated for a year almost, and now they're suffering for it. I'm just going to put it at D. Yes. I have a tier 15 command aspect. I nuked it. I don't even use that echo. It's a waste. And back in the day, unfortunately, we bought the command course for like 200,000 each. Now I don't know how much they're selling for now. I mean, right now, the imagine this: animal lord with veterinary, herding. These skill scrolls were selling for like 30, 40, 50,000 back in the day. Now they are selling for the junk price called blood. So it is very situational again. If you play it with arcane, like blood armor, arcane weapon, it is I think S tier. If you don't, I think maybe it's like D tier. If you are playing it for a melee character, yeah, it is useful at bosses. Yeah, but so I mean, yeah, well, like I don't know, it's not my thing. I will either rate it at between D and E, or at like between or like a straight S. So it is very situational. That's why I'm putting it like next to Madness, like same, because Madness is somewhat. I mean, the thing that pulling Madness up is archery. So this is very situational too. Arcane is pulling it up. Artisan, it used to be cool to play Artisan weapon with wrestling. Wrestling is that, Artisan is that anyway. Water. It was nice to play it with water fencer, uh, tamer, water uh, archer tamer because it gives bonus to weapon specials. But those days are over. I think it is also very highly and strictly connected to tamer. Tamer is bad right now. Water is even worse. You can still play water archer without taming. And you can now, since the revamp alchemy revamp, that you can throw potions and stuff. So like there is maybe one use case when you play it with an archer, but you can try to play it with a fencer too. Maybe I don't know, like, but I don't think it's like, I think it fell down like after command fell off. So I'm just going to put it there. Void, one of my favorite aspects. So the thing is, I don't know if they fixed it, but a couple months ago, actually, like maybe like before I left the Discord server, before I quit the Discord server by the way a while ago. If you tag me or anything, I haven't seen it unfortunately. There was an issue with voids, particularly for melee voids, where the armor reduction bonus wasn't working properly. If they fixed it, and I feel like they fixed it, but I'm not sure. Just double check it. Then it is. somewhere here. It's not the it's like the jack of all trades. You can combine it with arcane. You will never run out of mana. You can use it as an archer. You can use it as a fencer. Probably the only thing you can't use it, I mean, technically, of course, you can, but which doesn't make the most sense is using it with macing because, their bonuses conflict. So probably I wouldn't use it as for macing. But other than that, it's just super volatile. I love it. But again, it's not here, right? I mean, it won't farm it fast, but you can play a mage with it. You can play even a wrestling is in its worst condition right now. But if you combine it with void and use a dragon wrestler, then it's still fun. You can you can be a mage, you can be an archer. I think it's pretty cool to play void. Again, though, it is good because it's very volatile. But it's not S tier though. You won't be able to compete with these guys. Yeah. I think we went over all the aspect tiers. It feels like I missed out some because it was faster than I expected. Anyway, so yeah, these are, by the way, super subjective. I played most of them personally in the live servers, and the ones I didn't play, I tested them in back in the day. I tested them in the test server. Actually, I have most of them at like either tier 13 or tier 14, except a couple like Shadow, Artisan, whatever. So yeah, but they are still very subjective, and I might be wrong on many things that I'm talking about. All right, don't get pissed off too much if I said your favorite aspect is shit, but it is what it is. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.